Dan Bongino. So I think everybody realizes that I think that there's no doubt that Dan Bongino and Kash Patel are lying. I just believe they're lying. I just don't believe them at all. And I don't know what is going on. I don't believe what they're saying at all. He looks completely neutered.
Listen, that Jeffrey Epstein story is a big deal. Please do not let that story go. Keep your eye on this. Catherine Rumler, we need to keep the heat on this case, folks. There are a lot of people who are knee deep in the Washington swamp who are not telling you the truth about serious allegations out there that Epstein may have had video and audio of people out there doing things they shouldn't have been doing. And you should be asking yourself the question, how is it that all these people, the CIA director, the Obama fixer, Bill Clinton, all intersected paths with Jeffrey Epstein? Jeffrey Epstein isn't with us anymore, and nobody seems to want to talk about it outside of a few entrepreneurial media outlets saying, hey, this is a big deal.
He killed himself. You want me to get, I've seen the whole file. He killed himself.
Listen,
that is amazing. And the thing that, like, the mind-blowing thing here is the lack of self-awareness. The lack of self-awareness from him. You don't get to become one of the single biggest live streamers in the entire world by calling out government corruption and communicating directly with the people, and then suddenly forget how to communicate with the people. You just don't. It would be like if me and Gary suddenly got access to go investigate Lucasfilm, and suddenly we go investigate Lucasfilm, and then me and Gary walk out in suits and ties, and very calmly we go, Kathleen Kennedy is the greatest leader. She's the greatest producer. She's done a fantastic job with Star Wars. And just walk away. And you're all going to be like, what the fuck just happened? Dan Bongino built his following off of specifically calling out government corruption. And one of the focuses was the Epstein thing. And so for him to just go, he killed himself. I know these things. He killed himself. And you're like, what? So like if Dan Bongino would have been like, hey, look, you know, for years, I have questioned the authenticity behind this Epstein situation. And I understand that there are millions of people out there that will not believe what I'm saying right now. And I totally get that. And you shouldn't believe what I'm telling you right now, because we should never believe what the government is saying to us. And we have to be more transparent to show you what we've seen so that you will believe what we believe now. But until you see that, I don't expect you to take my words at face value. But here's what I believe. If he would have said it like that, I'm not saying everyone would have been happy, but at least you would have said, like, at least the real Dan Bongino is still in there. That's not real Dan Bongino. And now I'm not saying I used to watch Bongino and all that, but I've seen enough of this guy's clips to know that this guy that's sitting in the suit and tie with a very kind of like calm demeanor, very direct, not giving any substance, that ain't him. That ain't him at all. I did see something that was I thought was pretty interesting. Dan Bongino tweets out, always speak the truth and you'll never be burdened by the pressure of having to remember your web of lies. Quartering responds, let us see this magical Epstein file that was so convincing. Dan Bongino unfollows the Quartering. Like, you tell me, you guys have watched Bongino more than I have. Does this sound like the Dan Bongino that you guys followed and watched all those years? Does this sound like him? Does this sound like the Dan Bongino that you know? This is insane, dude. What is going on? What is happening? Everybody that has paid attention to this guy for all of these years is dumbfounded right now at what we're seeing. It doesn't make any sense. So why the sudden change? Now, I know that there's some people out there that are saying, hey, they're working a bigger angle here that you don't know about. I don't really believe that, but I will gladly be wrong if that's the case. But it still doesn't change the fact that every single person that's concerned about Bongino and Kash Patel right now should absolutely be concerned. Absolutely. I mean, to me, that's QAnon bullshit. People are saying, "Oh yeah, you guys just got to understand there's a bigger plan." And no, what? I will be happy to be proven wrong. Okay, I will be happy to get those answers, but I'm not seeing it right now, man. It really is very concerning to me that you're seeing such a difference in their mannerisms and how they're carrying themselves and things like that. So look at this. This is one more clip from Bongino that I saw. So right here, this is because this is Luke's quoting Bongino, always speak the truth and you'll never be burdened by the pressure of having to remember your web of lies. Dan Bongino.
I'm telling you, there could be some national security problems here because, ladies and gentlemen, nobody knows how much material people have on Jeffrey Epstein, who was videoed where those videos are. I was told by someone a long time ago, a very knowledgeable reporter, and it's not my information. I'm not hiding. I mean, oh, you're hiding up for some foreign government. You're protecting. I'm not protecting anyone. I'm only telling you what I was told. That some governments around the world may have some material.
And it's like, who told you these things? Are you investigating the people that told you these things? Since you don't believe them anymore?
That's related to the Epstein thing. Bill Clinton was knee deep in this, man. I have a very, very good source. I've told you this story. Forgive me for repeating it if you're a P1, but some people are new here and never heard this. He was on the plane with Bill Clinton and Epstein on one of Epstein's planes when Bill Clinton was on the plane with some women who, according to my source, looked underage. Why was my source on the plane? Dan, you know people who hung out with Jeffrey Epstein? No, I don't. He was working. Right? It's unbelievable. The guy killed himself, and now nobody's going to know. My buddy was on the plane and was very uncomfortable. He didn't see anything directly, but there was like apparently some area in the back of the plane where everybody went to go, whatever, do their thing. My friend's not comfortable with it. They land, and he's like to the guy who's running the show, if you know what I mean, I ain't going to be part of whatever's going on this plane. And the guy who's running the whole thing says, well, you need to go home.
Get off my plane.
That's the Air Force One thing, too. It's kind of like a similar story. And he says, you need to go home. So they send him home. But he saw Clinton on the plane with Epstein in the little area with people he thought didn't look of age. I've told this story 1,000 times, and it's amazing how, because it's the Dan Bongino show where we've been right about just about everything, everyone in the media ignores it, even though this source is still out there. Anyone can talk to him.
And then this.
Says, Epstein's an intelligence asset for people in the Middle East, right? I'm like, no, I didn't know that. I'm like, you sure of that? I'm absolutely sure of that. That he's either a witting or unwitting asset, intelligence asset. There's a big assumption out there that these videotapes were exclusively in the custody of Epstein. That's a huge mistake. The reason they wanted this story to go away is because there's an assumption like, oh yeah, Epstein had him. No, he wasn't the only one who had him, according to this source. These assets, that's why this blackmail story makes so much sense. Which Middle Eastern countries they are, I don't know. Epstein was either a witting or unwitting intelligence asset, and they may have had his plane wired up, and they're the ones who have all this stuff.
That guy sitting there in a suit and tie telling you that very calmly, by the way, that, he killed himself. It's no big deal. We know. And you're like, what do you mean you know? What? How do you go from that to that. So again, it's very concerning and it's kind of fascinating. Alex Jones had, in my opinion, probably had the best response to all of this. If I can find it, Alex Jones' response was just perfect.
Just don't sit there and tell us, oh, we've closed it. He acted alone. We have the files. Don't, if you're going to crap on me or piss on me, don't rub it in and don't tell me it's raining. Okay. Please. Just, can you not, just as a PR issue, will you stop it? Kosh and Bongino? I know, obviously, Dan, nobody's smarter than you. But if you want to go from being very popular to very unpopular and thus hurt Trump as well, just keep going. Keep going, tough guy. Okay, I'm going to stop right there. I'm getting angry. And it's very insulting to the American people to say Epstein killed himself. No one buys it. It's very insulting to say that brainwashed classic mind control operative acted alone. Please stop.
This part right here.
The one that trained, where the federal law enforcement trained, all that, his cell phone all around the federal building in D.C., the FBI headquarters. Stop it. If you're not going to do anything about it, just shut up about it then.
That line right there. If you're not going to do anything about it, then just shut up. Pam Bondi sat there with those nonsensical Epstein files, those binders, called all those influencers out there to stand up and pretend like, oh, they're about to release him. Now these guys are talking about in interviews. This line from Alex Jones sums it up perfectly.
Headquarters, stop it. If you're not going to do anything about it, just shut up about it then.
Yep.
But that's only going to encourage the group inside the government, the faction, to try to kill the big guy again. I'm not trying to create some controversy. Alex Jones turns on Trump, turns on Bongino. It's not that. Please don't insult us anymore. Please. God, it's like getting up at a dinner party and taking a dump on a plate and telling everybody it's chocolate ice cream. Just do not do it. Gives me a headache. We had a well-known, very famous private investigators that were hired by Trump's people to go spend months in Pennsylvania and investigate it. And they came back and talked about the FBI pulling up and threatening them and following them and telling them to stop their investigation. And then that same FBI now is still in charge, obviously, and is just telling us to just stop investigating. Well, we're not going to. You guys can tell us, there's nothing to see here and crap like that, but we're not going to shut up about it. So you can be guaranteed of that. If you want to know about it, go put the article back up, the Hagman investigation into it. So.
Yeah, man. So the whole thing's very, very depressing. And people have every right to question what's going on, every right to question this. It's insane.